Tonight I have a special guest. You've seen her over on the panel, but now we are here at the side counter. This is Lori Watson from Millcreek Greenhouses, and she has brought all these wonderful plants for us, and I'm so excited to talk about them. Even though Amanda's not here, we're still going to talk about some of her not so favorite plants. But the ones that we're going to get started with is this beautiful, beautiful what?
Arbor fern.
And how big is this going to get?
It probably gets maybe a foot.
And this is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a very nice texture to it.
Almost looks like the Arbor vitae, the conifer Arbor vitae. That's sort of why it gets its name, I think.
And so since it's a fern, this needs to grow in the shade?
Yes, but I have seen it in full sun with plenty of water.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a bonus if it can grow out in the sun and still be a fern.
And very forgiving plant.
Then that probably means it needs to come home with me tonight, if it's a forgiving plant, because I'm one of those gardeners. If this is survival of the fittest at my house, if it has to be loved on, it may not live.
Yeah, it may not live.
Now, one of the things I'm used to seeing is a phlox, but I'm used to seeing the low growing. It's got a pink flower on it, but this is a little bit different.
The summer or the upright phlox, usually that's what I refer to with this type of phlox. But this phlox is mainly prone to a lot of mildews and rots, but this peacock series has been wonderful. And it comes in different colors. This happens to be peacock white.
And this white is
pure,
blindingly white. It's absolutely gorgeous. And
the fragrance.
And Katie was talking about that they were fragrant, and we didn't know that until we came over here. And
I've walked by it a million times at the greenhouse.
And it's got a wonderful, wonderful fragrance to it, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
How big does this get? Is this about
just
as tall
2
as
feet.
it gets? Okay. It's beautiful.
But it's real tight and
I wish y'all could
compact.
see how white this is. I mean, it's in person under the lights. It's absolutely amazing.
Perfect.
And then Katie also talked about a bee balm.
Right.
And this is one that's Monarda bergamot. Okay.
And it sort of looks like our native wild bergamot, but this was sort of bred. This was bred in Holland as a hybrid, more mildew resistant, but it has all the attributes of our native. I mean, it attracts a lot of neat insects.
And you said that the flowers, they'll tend to get tall and kind of go all the way down the stem. And then you said that we can also make teas out of these.
The leaves are real minty.
It's got a great smell. And it's just like the other bee balms. It's a lot of homeopathic type things that folks
but
can
the
do with
bloom
them.
power on this is probably a lot better.
That's one of the bonuses then. Okay. Amanda's favorite plants.
We give it
Laura Petalums. This one I think is absolutely fabulous because it's got variegated leaves. Tell us about this.
Oh, it's stunning. I have to say it came in very short to the pot and looked a little bit weak. It overwintered. It came out this spring and it exploded.
And you said this particular plant was tiny whenever it
Very
first got
tiny,
here.
and it looked very weak. You know, that first year, some plants just don't explode like the second year, so I didn't know what to expect. But all the variegations on the top, it seems. And this is called Jazz Hand Series. There's a lot of Jazz Hand Series lower petalums, but this is the variegated one. They promote a bigger leaf and a bigger bloom, and it does have a bigger bloom.
You said it really did. Even
Fluffy and pink.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Because this is one of my very favorite plants. Now this one, what size does this one get? Is this one
4
of the
to 5,
huge ones?
sort of like your rubies and Suzannes, 4 to 5.
Okay,
but
so
like
it's a nice middle canopy size.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, this is probably just a one-season prune because the variegation is a little bit slower, you know, just on the growth rate.
Okay, all right. I think this will be a very interesting plant to have in there.
To look down on it is stunning.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, this tall thing, I'm a big fan of texture at my house, not necessarily green leaves and having everything really full, but I like texture. And this has some really great interest. Tell me about this.
Yeah, it's a mountain mint, and it's a native. Wild mint is another name. 3 weeks ago, this top looked completely white. And it's just beautiful, but it's a magnet for insects.
It has tiny little
all types.
The flower heads are lots and lots of tiny white flowers, and so it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, it is a mint, So is this thing going to be what we call enthusiastic?
Yes, but I have it in my perennial bed, and it's easy just to sort of pull up and contain. Yeah. So,
Okay.
But I put it in there just for the pollination and the insects.
Okay. So that really hits on what Katie was talking about earlier.
Oh yeah.
Now, in Aiken, we have some loropetalums that are 25, 30 feet tall. They're huge. But tell us about this one down here.
This is a newer cultivar called Crimson Fire. And actually, rather than going upright, it cascades. So it's got a beautiful
So it's kind of a weeping
habit. Yes.
Okay.
And right now they're saying it's 2.5 to 3 feet tall on this particular cultivar.
Okay. And you said one of the unusual things is that the red leaves go all the way to the inside.
Yes.
Instead of just being on the new growth tips.
Right.
So
you don't really have to necessarily prune it and fertilize it to get that burgundy. It seems to sort of stay that way.
Oh, nice.
So.
And this is full sun also?
Okay. I get a little shade.
All right. And this next one, so this one I'm excited about because as an extension agent, we get lots of phone calls about Intimasporium leaf spot on Indian hawthorn. So tell us about this plant right here.
Well, it's just a great foundation plant. It's called blue leaf izu. That's the common name.
Okay.
Distilium is the botanical name. 8 years ago, a lady came into the nursery and told us this would be the plant that replaces a lot of evergreen things for foundations, for houses. But this one is called Cinnamon Girl, this particular cultivar, and it's more shaped like a boxwood, smaller leaves. There's also one called Blue Cascade, which has a blue tone to it, real pretty when it comes out in the spring.
Okay.
Another one called Vintage Jade that spreads, you know, and it looks, one thing most people don't like about Vintage Jade, it sort of first off looks like someone sat in the middle of it, but you have to give it a couple of years because it'll start to sort of shoot up and then it, you know, it spreads and has a beautiful habit. And they do bloom in the winter.
Okay.
But it's a red, it's not a full flower all up and down the stem.
Oh, wow. So it's got winter interest as well as just being a nice, different plant.
Can go wet, dry, sun, or shade, yes.
Oh, so it's really versatile.
Very.
Okay. And I really like it. If this is going to be an Indian hawthorn alternative, I am all for it.
Yeah.
And then there's something so exciting. So you said that this gets a really open habit. Tell us about this last plant.
It's called Dappled Willow.
Okay.
And Nishiki is another name that it will go by. It's really shrub form. It can get 20 feet tall if you let it. Really 6 foot, it's manageable.
Okay.
And you can cut it down to the ground in the spring.
Okay.
But the beauty of it is in the cooler weather when the growth flushes out and it's a pink and a green and a white all in one shrub and it's gorgeous.
Oh, wow. So it's so it does have the variegation on there. So what you guys see is white. You said it was kind of pinky whenever it first came out.
It's already sort of reverted to the white and green now, but it had the pink tinges on it a month and a half ago. But sometimes I've noticed if I cut them back again and it flushes out, it'll have that pink tint, even in the heat. But,
oh, wow.
But really it's going to be the cool season that this is a beauty.
Okay. So really and truly you recommend just cutting it back before the new growth starts.
Yeah, and it's open. It's just a graceful shrub.
Oh, wonderful.
So.
Thank you so much for bringing these. These are exciting plants I love whenever you come to visit. If folks want to learn more about these plants or get in touch with you, how do they go about doing that?
Millcreek Greenhouses on Leesburg Road in Columbia, and we're Millcreek Greenhouses, Columbia.co.